The Wizard of Oz. Act 1, Scene 1, the Kansas Prairie. The curtain rises on a scene showing a small dirt road amidst the wide open spaces of the Kansas Prairie. A line of telegraph poles stretches into infinity. The sky is vast. Somewhere off stage, a small dog barked, woof, which is the cue for Dorothy Gale, a small girl in a check dress, to run breathlessly on stage. Dorothy steps stage and puts her hand to her chest.
Oh, jeepers. My heart's thumping so loud I can hardly breathe.
She looks around.
Toto? Toto?
She sees the dog and crouches down, beckoning to him.
No need to be scared anymore. She ain't following us. I won't let her touch you nohow. Toto! Toto!
Suddenly, the little mutt scampers on stage and leaps into Dorothy's arms.
There you go. Did she hurt you? She tried to, didn't she? Oh, Toto.
Dorothy hugs him to her and looks back in the direction she came from.
She must be the meanest old woman there ever was.
Dorothy holds him up and looks into his face.
Let's go tell Uncle Henry and Annie M. They'll take care of her.
Dorothy puts Toto down and continues along the road.
Come on, Toto.
As Dorothy runs, the stage revolves, and from either side, two trucks enter, one containing a small portion of white picket face and a swing gate, in front of which is a small agricultural rake on wheels. The other houses a chicken incubator. The sound of week-old chicks fills the stage. Aunt Em and Uncle Henry are transferring the chicks from the incubator to a box with a blanket draped inside it.
Aunt Em! Aunt Em!
The two adults go on working.
Aunt Em!
57, 58.
Just listen to what Miss Gulch did to Toto. She...
Dorothy, please. We're trying to count. 58.
Oh, but Aunt Em, she hit him.
Don't bother us now, honey. You see, this old incubator has gone bad, and we're likely to lose a lot of chicks.
Oh, the poor little things.
Dorothy reaches into the box and lifts out a chicken which she strokes during the next speech.
Oh, but Aunt Em, Miss Gulch hit Toto right over the back with a rake, just before she says he gets in her garden and chases her nasty old cat every day.
70. Dorothy, please.
But he doesn't do it every day. Just once or twice a week, and he can't catch that old cat anyway. And now she says she's going to get the...
Dorothy, we're busy.
Aunt Em places the final chickens in her outstretched arms and hurries off.
Uncle Henry, can you do something?
I'm doing something right now, honey, so just keep out of our hair.
Uncle Henry lifts up the box and exits after his wife. The noise of the chicks fades and is replaced by a squeaking noise.
Oh, all right.
Dorothy turns to see the three farmhands, Zeke, Hickory, and Hunk, shoving a small wagon with three wheels. It contains various items of farm equipment, including the remains of a scarecrow. Zeke propels the fourth wheel along the ground.
Who was the genius suggested we move the wagon before the wheel was on?
It ain't so heavy with one, lass. That makes sense, don't it?
Sense or no sense, when I lift up the axle, you two shove her on.
Dorothy crosses to the farmhands as Hickory takes hold of the edge of the wagon and lifts. Zeke ignores Hickory's actions and studies the wheel with a frown.
Zeke, Hickory, know what Miss Gulch did to Toto?
I swear they made this new wheel smaller than the other three.
She tried to kill him.
Bigger or smaller, get her on here, for my arms are pulled clean out their sockets. I ain't a statue, you know. I ain't made of iron.
Okay.
Hunk takes the axle. Zeke lifts the wheel into place.
Why won't anyone listen? Don't you care about Toto?
Suddenly, Hunk spins away, flapping his hand vigorously.
Ah, you got my finger!
Zeke and Hickory chuckle while Hunk moves away, sucking his finger. Dorothy, clutching Toto, crosses to Hunk. Hickory and Zeke get the wheel in place and hammer on the fixing ring.
What am I going to do about Miss Gulch, Hunk? Just because Toto chases her old cat.
Now look at Dorothy, you ain't using your head about Miss Gulch. Ain't you got no brains?
Sure I have brains.
Well, why don't you use them? When you come home, don't go by Miss Gulch's place. Then Toto won't get in her garden and you won't get in no trouble. See?
Uncle Henry re-enters with the empty box, which he leans against the side of the incubator.
Quit standing there and clear that junk out of the wagon. We got a parcel of lumber to haul from town before the weather turns.
Will do, Mr. Gale.
Hunk turns back to the wagon where he joins Hickory, already starting to empty it. Zeke crosses to Dorothy, wiping the axle grease from his hands.
Zeke, what am I going to do?
Well, for a start, kid, don't let that old Gulch heifer try and buffalo you. She ain't nothing to be afraid of. You've got to stand up to her, that's all, with a little courage, a little grit.
Behind Dorothy, Hickory has unearthed a large metal funnel, and Hunk holds the ruined Scarecrow. The Scarecrow head is a small, stuffed canvas bag painted with a face wearing a garish smile. A small crosspiece supports the rags of an ancient garment.
I'm not afraid of her.
That's what I wanted to hear. Walk with your head up, your chest out, and the next time she squawks, you just stroll right up to her and spit in her eye. That's what I'd do.
Would you really?
Unseen behind Dorothy and Zeke, Hunk and Hickory approach on tiptoe.
Sure I would. Through this life, you got to walk tall, shoot straight, and then you've got no reason to be scared of nothing and nobody.
Hickory roars through the metal funnel on one side of Zeke's hand, while Hunk suddenly brandishes the face of the Scarecrow eye level on the other. With a scream of terror, Zeke leaks away, clutching his heart.
Oh, Zeke, are you all right?
Hickory and Hunk collapse with laughter.
What are you trying to do, kill a guy?
How can you
To
be so cruel?
It's just a rib, Dorothy.
Can't you see how wide he is? You really scared him.
Who was scared?
You were scared. If you was a jackrabbit, you'd be in the next county by now.
Just as it looks as if a quarrel is about to break out, Aunt Em enters with a plate of cookies.
Here, here. What's all this jabber-wapping when there's work to be done? I know 3 shiftless farmhands that'll be out of a job before they know it.
Well, we was just having a little fun, Mrs. Gale.
Our farm's no place for fun. You want fun? Go join a circus.
Might just do that.
He flexes his muscles.
Be a strong man, see the world.
Well, don't start posing for it now. Here, here. Can't work on an empty stomach. Have some cookies.
Gosh, Mrs. Gale.
Just baked.
Thanks.
Swell.
Sits down on the wagon.
You don't have to sit down to eat them.
Hunk gets to his feet again.
Get the wagon hitched up, and Zeke, you go feed those hogs before they worry themselves into anemia.
Yes, ma'am.
Zeke goes off in one direction while Hunk and Hickory wheel the wagon off the way it came. Aunt Em starts to exit. Dorothy starts after her.
And yeah, really, do you know what Miss Gulch said she was going to do to Toto? She said she was going to...
Dorothy, dear, stop imagining things. You always get yourself into a fret over nothing.
Well...
Now, just you help us out today and find yourself a place where you won't get into any trouble.
Aunt Em exits, leaving Dorothy and Toto alone.
Someplace where there isn't any trouble.
Scene 2. Dorothy crosses to the farm, rake by the picket fence, and gazes into the distance.
I wonder if there is such a place, Toto. There must be.
Dorothy places Toto on the seat of the rake, music in.
Not a place you can get to by boat or train. It's far, far away, behind the moon, beyond the rain.
Over the rainbow.
Sorry.
It's all right.
When all the world is a hopeless jumble and the raindrops tumble all around, heaven opens a magic lake. When all the clouds darken up the skyway, there's a rainbow highway to be found. Leading a place behind the sun, just a step beyond the rain. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I've heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow, white and white and high. If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I?
Ooh, fabulous.
Was
Dorothy lifts Toto from the rake seat, hugs him, and exits forlornly. Scene 3, Kansas. Miss Gulch, astride her trusty bicycle, clatters on stage. She circles the stage, peering out into the audience intently, looking for culprits. She suddenly spots Uncle Henry off stage and screeches to a halt.
Henry Gale! Is that you skulking by the barn?
Uncle Henry enters.
I never skulked in my life, Miss Gulch, and I ain't about to start now.
Miss Gulch dismounts and leans her bicycle against the picket fence. Uncle Henry holds open the gate for her. She passes through.
I want to see you and your wife right away about Dorothy.
Dorothy? Why, what has Dorothy done?
What has she done? I'm all but lame from the bite on my leg.
You mean she bit you?
No, her dog.
Oh, she bit her dog, eh?
Aunt Em entering.
afternoon, Miss Gulch. I just made a fresh batch of cookies if you've a mind to sit a while.
I'm afraid I have no appetite, Miss Gale. Indeed, I'm so shaken by the ferocious attack of your niece's vicious dog, I may never eat again.
Well, if you don't eat, you'll waste away, and I'd hate to see you dwindle.
Miss Gulch gives Uncle Henry a beady look whilst Aunt Em calls off.
Dorothy, could you bring Toto out here a minute? I'm sure if Dorothy's upset you in any way, she'll be only too glad to apologize as best she can.
It's gone beyond apologizes, Miss Gale. I've laid an official complaint with the county sheriff.
Was it sober?
Miss Gulch gives Uncle Henry another look as Dorothy enters carrying Toto.
Dorothy, Miss Gulch here seems very upset.
That dog's a menace to the community.
That's not true.
As an act of public service, young woman, I'm taking that dog to the sheriff and make sure he's destroyed.
Destroyed? Toto? Oh, you can't. You mustn't. Uncle Henry, Annie M, you won't let her, will you?
Of course we won't, will we, Am?
Aunt Em says nothing.
Oh, please, Aunt Em. Toto didn't mean to. He didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know he was doing anything wrong. I'm the one that ought to be punished. You can send me to bed without supper.
You hear how sorry the child is. Surely if she promises to give your place a wide berth.
If you don't hand the dog over now, I'll bring a damage suit that'll take your whole farm. There's a law protecting folks against dogs that bite.
How would it be if she keeps him tied up? He's really gentle. With gentle folk, that is.
Well, that's for the sheriff to decide.
Produces a document which he hands to Uncle Henry.
Here's his order allowing me to take him, unless you want to go against the law.
Uncle Henry studies the document.
Yeah.
What's it say, Henry?
Just what she says. You gotta hand him over, Dorothy.
No, I won't let you take him.
Zeke, attracted by Dorothy's cries, enters carrying the hog pail.
We can't go against the law, Dorothy. I'm afraid poor Toto will have to go.
Now you're seeing reason.
No!
Dorothy hugs Toto to her. Hunk and Hickory enter. Hunk carries a bridle. Miss Gulch turns and removes a basket from her bicycle.
Here's what I'm taking him in, so he can't attack me again.
Dorothy backs away towards Hunk and Hickory.
No, no, no! I won't let you take him. You go away. Oh, I'll bite you myself.
Dorothy.
Oh, you wicked old witch. Uncle Henry, Annie M. Don't let him take Toto. Don't let her take him, please.
Dorothy clutches Toto to her, turns and runs.
Stop her!
Hickory steps in front of Dorothy and catches her gently.
It's no use running, Dorothy.
Hickory, I thought you were my friend.
He is your friend. We all are.
You can't fight the law, honey. Some things are bigger than all of us.
Let me have him, Dorothy.
Oh, please, please.
Uncle Henry gently takes Toto from her. Hickory tries to comfort her, but Dorothy breaks away from him, sobbing angrily.
Put him in the basket, Henry.
That's more like it.
Uncle Henry puts Toto in the basket. Dorothy starts forward.
Don't, Uncle Henry.
That's more like it.
Aunt Em catches Dorothy and holds her back.
Oh, Toto.
Dorothy turns and sobs in Aunt Em's arms.
Almira Gulch, just because you own half the county doesn't mean you have the power to run the rest of us. For 23 years, I've been dying to tell you what I thought of you, and now, well, being a Christian woman, I can't say it.
Well, I can. So if you don't want to hear it, you better pedal your carcass off of my land.
I don't take kindly to that kind of talk, Henry Gale.
Climbs aboard her cycle.
Just remember, I have friends in high places.
Starts to pedal off with dignity.
Yeah, then why don't you climb on your broomstick and go visit him?
Miss Gulch looks back angrily, loses her balance and wobbles off, narrowly avoiding the wings. Zeke and Hunk hoot with laughter. Uncle Henry turns to them.
You got the horse hitched to that wagon yet?
Nearly done, Mr. Gale.
Nearly ain't good enough. You get it done right now. Sky's getting darker every minute. God damn it.
Stamps angrily off stage. Aunt Em to Dorothy.
Come inside, honey.
I'm not going anywhere with you.
Breaks away angrily.
If you really loved me, you wouldn't have let Toto go.
She had an order from the sheriff, Dorothy. What did you expect us to do? Wave a wand and make it disappear?
You could have tried at least.
With a snort of impatience, Aunt Em stomps off. Dorothy crosses to Hunk.
You stood there like you was stuffed or something.
I just couldn't think of anything. I'm sorry.
Hunk exits. Dorothy to Zeke.
One mean old woman and you was scared of her.
It wasn't my place to interfere.
Starts to exit. Dorothy to Hickory.
And you're worst of all. You stopped Toto getting away. I just hate you.
Oh, don't say that, Dorothy. You make me feel terrible inside, like my heart was all tore out.
I don't care. I never want to see any of you ever again. Ever, ever, ever.
Hickory exits sadly.
only friend I had in the world. Now I got no one to talk to, no one to play with. And I'll never see him again as long as I live.
Barking is heard off stage. Dorothy looks around.
Toto?
Toto scampers on stage. Dorothy catches him and hugs him to her.
Toto, darling. Oh, you came back. You got away from that horrible woman, you wonderful dog.
Looks anxiously off stage.
She'll be coming back for you any minute. We've got to get away. We've got to run away. We need food for me and a bone for you, and well, we've got to get far, far away from here, and we're never coming back.
Dorothy hugs Toto to her and runs off stage. Miss Gulch is heard calling off stage.
Here, doggy, doggy, here, doggy, doggy.
Miss Gulch enters, pushing her bicycle.
Where is that dreaded animal? Here, doggy, doggy.
Uncle Henry enters.
I asked you to get off my land, Miss Gulch.
I did, but that dog got away.
You can't have enjoyed your company much.
Where the little girl is, that's where I'll find the dog. Kindly bring her out here.
You never give up, do you? Dorothy! Dorothy!
Aunt Em enters, looking anxious.
She ain't in the house, Henry, and that fresh batch of cookies is missing. My picture from the mantel, that's gone too.
Sounds like you've a runaway on your hands.
Mounts her bicycle.
If she's on the road, I'll find her, and then I'll take that dog back for good.
If you're so anxious to have it, you should have looked after it better.
Don't blame me. The catch on my basket's faulty. That's the last time.
Carry on.
That's the last time I buy anything from a charity bazaar.
Miss Gulch exits. Uncle Henry puts his arm around Aunt Em and they exit towards the house. Scene 4, Gypsy Caravan. The stage revolves and the farm truck slides off as a painted gypsy caravan comes to the front of the stage. The lettering on the caravan reads, Professor Marvel, acclaimed by the crowned heads of Europe. Let him read in his crystals your past, present and future. Also juggling and sleight of hand. The professor is sitting on the steps of the wagon, toasting a sausage on a stick over a little fire. He hums softly to himself and raises the sausage with a hammy gesture and examines it. Professor declaiming.
If we're done, it were best it be done equally on both sides.
The professor turns the sausage round and puts it back over the fire. Toto and Dorothy enter with a basket covered with a small checkered cloth.
Well, well, well. House guests, huh?
Dorothy approaches shyly.
And who might you be? No, now, don't tell me.
Covers his eyes with his hands.
You're travelling in disguise. No, that's not right. You're going on a visit. No, I'm wrong. You're running away.
How did you guess?
Ha ha! Professor Marvel never guesses. He knows. Now, why are you running away?
Why?
No, don't tell me. They don't understand you at home. They don't appreciate you. You want to see other lands, big cities, big mountains, and big oceans. Ha ha ha!
Why, it's just like you can read what was inside of me.
It is my trade, my calling. See what it says on the side of my conveyance.
The professor gestures with one hand, allowing the stick with the sausage to droop dangerously near Toto, who suddenly snatches it.
Oh, Toto, that's not polite. We haven't been asked yet.
He's perfectly welcome. As one dog to another, huh? Here now, let's see. Where were we?
Oh, please, Professor. Why can't we go with you and see all the crowned heads of Europe?
Do you know any? Oh, you mean the thing? Well, yeah. Well, I never do anything without consulting my crystal first. Here, sit down here.
The professor rises and upturns a bucket, setting it down next to the caravan steps. Dorothy sits and the professor takes the basket from her.
That's it.
The professor places the basket on the ground to the far side of the steps, then reaches into the caravan and brings out a small turban and puts it on.
Ha ha! Just make yourself comfortable while I conjure up out of the air, out of thin air.
The professor reaches behind Dorothy's head and produces a small crystal ball. Dorothy gasps.
This very genuine, magic, authentic crystal used by the priests of the Isis and Osiris in the days of the pharaohs of the Egypt, in which Cleopatra first saw the approach of Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, and so on and so on. Now then, you hold out your hands to help me look into the future.
Dorothy does, and the professor places the crystal on her hands.
Now, you'd better close your eyes, my child, for a moment, in order to be better in tune with the infinite.
Dorothy closes her eyes. The professor dips into Dorothy's basket.
We can't do these things without reaching into the infinite.
Studies a photograph in a silver frame.
Yes, that's all right.
Replaces the photograph in the basket.
Now you can open them.
Dorothy does so.
We'll gaze into the crystal. Ah, what's this I see? A house with a picket fence.
That's our farm.
Oh yes, there's a woman. She's wearing a polka dot dress. Her face is careworn.
That's an M.
Yes, her name is Emily.
That's right. What's she doing?
Well, I can't quite see. Why? She's crying.
Oh,
Someone has hurt her. Someone has just broken her heart.
why would anyone do that?
I don't know, but it's someone she loves very much. Someone she's been very kind to. Someone she's taken care of in sickness.
I had the measles once, and she stayed right by me every minute.
Uh-huh.
But that was when I was very small. She doesn't care about me at all now, and I don't care about her.
Ah, well, that's not what the crystal says.
They were going to kill Toto, and she did nothing to stop them.
I don't see any of that in the crystal. All I see is a woman who does the best she can and misses you terribly.
What's she doing now?
Yes, she's, what's this? Why, she's putting her hand on her heart. She's dropping down on the bed.
Oh, you don't suppose she could be really sick, do you?
Dorothy stands.
Oh, I've got to go home right away.
The stage begins to darken. The sound of wind rises. Professor Marvel removes his turban.
But what's this? I thought you were going along with me.
Oh, no, I have to get to her right away. Come on, Toto. Come on. Goodbye, Professor Marvel, and thanks a lot.
Goodbye, safe journey. Better get the horse under cover. There's a storm blowing. A whopper.
Stamps out the remains of his little fire and then looks up after the departing Dorothy.
Poor little kid. I hope she gets home all right.
Scene 6. Munchkin Land. In the blackout, the bedroom set and the suspended house have been removed. Another spot at the side of the stage picks out the porch door and entrance to the farmhouse. The door opens slowly and Dorothy, carrying Toto, looks out. She tests the ground with her foot. As she moves forward, the lights come up and we discover the vividly colourful Munchkin Civic Centre in the land of Oz. Dorothy looks about her. The scene is enchanting.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
Move centre stage.
We must be over the rainbow.
A great shining globe descends from the skies, I think that was meant to say.
Now I know we're not in Kansas.
The globe reaches stage level and revolves. Inside is Glinda, the Witch of the North, complete with crown and magic wand.
Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
Who, me? I'm not a witch at all. I'm Dorothy Gale from Kansas.
Oh, well, is that the witch?
Who, Toto?
Points to Toto.
Toto's my dog.
Well, I'm a little muddled. The Munchkins called me because a new witch has just dropped a house on the Wicked Witch of the East. And there's the house, and here you are, and those legs are all that's left of the Wicked Witch of the East.
A spotlight picks out a pair of legs wearing ruby slippers and striped socks. Dorothy gasps in horror.
And so, what the Munchkins want to know is, are you a good witch or a bad witch?
But I've already told you, I'm not a witch at all. Witches are old and ugly.
High-pitched giggles are heard.
What was that?
The Munchkins, they're laughing because I'm a witch. I'm Glinda, the Witch of the North.
You are? I beg your pardon, but I've never heard of such a beautiful witch before.
Only bad witches are ugly.
More laughter and reaction from the unseen Munchkins.
The Munchkins are happy because you have freed them from the Wicked Witch of the East.
Oh, but if you please, what are Munchkins?
The little people who live in this land, and blue is their favourite colour. This is Munchkin land, and you are their national heroine, my dear. It's all right. You may all come out now and thank her.
As Glinda begins to sing, the inhabitants of the city step nervously out of hiding until the stage is thronged by Munchkins.
Come out, wherever you are, and meet the young lady who fell from a star. She fell from the sky, she fell very far, and Kansas, she says, is the name of the star.
Kansas, she says, is the name of the star.
She brings you good news, oh, haven't you heard? When she fell out of Kansas, a miracle occurred.
It really was no miracle. What happened was just this. The wind began to switch, the house to pitch, and suddenly the hinges started to unswitch. Just then, the witch, to satisfy an itch, went flying on her broomstick, thumbing for a hitch.
And oh, what happened next then was rich.
The house began to pitch, the kitchen took a slitch. It landed on the Wicked Witch in the middle of a ditch, which was not a healthy situation for the Wicked Witch.
The house began to pitch, the kitchen was a slitch. It landed on the Wicked Witch in the middle of a ditch, which was not a healthy situation for the Wicked Witch, who began to twitch and was reduced to just a switch of what was once the Wicked Witch.
Two Munchkins, school teachers, step forward. One of them presents a bouquet to Dorothy.
We thank you very sweetly for doing it so neatly.
You've killed her so completely that we thank you very sweetly.
Let the joyous news be spread. The wicked old witch at last is dead.
Hooray!
Hooray!
Ding dong, she's dead. Witch, oh witch, the wicked witch. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. Wake up, you sleepyhead. Rub your eyes, get out of bed. Wake up, the wicked witch is dead. She's gone where the goblins go. Ho, let's open up and sing and ring the bell.
Sing it high.
Sing it low.
Another wicked witch is dead.
Amidst all this rejoicing, an official delegation from the city pushes its way forward through the crowd to Dorothy. 3 heralds with trumpets lead the way, followed by the mayor, a barrister, clutching a legal document, and 3 of the city fathers. They approach Dorothy with dignity. At the same time, the Munchkin coroner crosses to the farmhouse and examines the remains of the Witch of the East.
As mayor of the Munchkin city in the county of the land of Oz, I welcome you most regally.
But we've got to verify it legally to see
To see
if she
if she
is morally, ethically,
Spiritually, physically,
Positively, absolutely. Undeniably and reliably dead.
I've just lost my script. Damn it. Can you tell me what page we're on, please?
27.
27. Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry, it's just had a
Right
moment.
to the bottom.
Thank you. No, it's tight. Sorry. Mine's having a mare now.
it's in mourning for the wicked witch.
Into something like that. It's in. Nearly there. Come on. Right. The delegation all turn towards the coroner, who straightens up, unravels a scroll, and delivers his verdict.
As a coroner, I must aver, I thoroughly examined her, and she's not only merely dead, she's really most sincerely dead.
Friends, this is a day of independence for all the Munchkins and their descendants.
if any.
Yes, let the joyous news be spread. The wicked old witch at last is dead.
Ding dong, the witch is dead. Witch away, the wicked witch. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. Wake up, you sleepyhead. Rub your eyes, get out of bed. Wake up, the wicked witch is dead. She's gone where the goblins go. Sing it high, sing it low. Let them know the wicked witch is dead.
dance break.
Dance break. 3 little beauties wobble forward on points and present a bouquet.
We represent the Lullaby League, the Lullaby League, the Lullaby League, and in the name of the Lullaby League, we wish to welcome you to Munchkin Land.
3 little thugs chewing on clay pipes clog dance forward. They present lollipops.
We represent the Lollipop Guild, the Lollipop Guild, the Lollipop Guild. And in the name of the Lollipop Guild, we welcome you to Munchkin Land.
One of the toughs hands a lollipop to Dorothy, who accepts it graciously. The remaining munchkins swarm around.
We welcome you to Munchkin Land. Tra-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la.
From now on, you'll be history.
You'll be hissed.
John, I think.
You'll be hissed.
You'll be history.
And we will glorify your name.
You will be a bust.
Be a bust.
In the Hall of Fame.
Tra-la-la, tra-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la, la-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, tra-la-la-la-la-la-la.
In the midst of the rejoicing, there is a sudden explosion. Scene 7. The explosion turns out to be the arrival in Munchkinland of the Wicked Witch of the West, clutching her broomstick. The Munchkins draw back in alarm. The witch circles them, grinning wickedly and widening the space she has about her.
I thought you said she was dead.
That was her sister, the Wicked Witch of the East. This is the Wicked Witch of the West, and she's worse than the other one was.
The Wicked Witch of the West suddenly points her broomstick at Glinda.
Where's my sister?
Oh, wow.
Yonder she lies.
Glinda points with her wand.
Where?
There.
The West Witch looks at the house.
All right. Who's the smart aleck that turned her into a house? Was it you, Glinda?
Not the house. Under the house.
Under the house?
It's my fault. I'm so sorry. My house dropped on her.
You dropped your house on my sister? How could anyone be so unbelievably clumsy?
Glinda pointing to the legs.
Look closer.
The Witch of the West approaches the house and suddenly sees the legs and the ruby slippers. She screams in anguish.
Ah!
Dorothy steps back in alarm. Some of the Munchkins, equally afraid, crowd around her. It is at this moment that Dorothy's shoes are substituted by the ruby slippers.
You recognized her then?
Of course I recognized her. Who else would wear ruby slippers with those socks?
Brightens as a thought occurs.
The ruby slippers.
Turns on Dorothy.
Little girl, you've done me a service. I shall don the ruby slippers, which will make my powers greater than ever.
The West Witch turns towards the ruby slippers in time to see them and the legs wearing them vanish.
The ruby slippers! They've gone! The slippers!
To Glinda.
What have you done with them?
See for yourself. Step forward, Dorothy.
The crowd parts and Dorothy steps forward wearing the ruby slippers, as much to her surprise as everyone else's.
Give them back to me, or I'll...
It's too late. There they are, and there they'll stay.
The West Witch advances hypnotically across the stage towards Dorothy.
Give me back those slippers. I'm the only one that knows how to use them. They're of no use to you. Give them back to me. Give them back.
Dorothy seems on the point of obeying the West Witch when Glinda brings her wand down between Dorothy and the witch and breaks the spell.
Keep tight inside of them. Their magic must be very powerful, or she wouldn't want them so badly.
You stay out of this, Glinda, or I'll fix you as well.
Oh, fiddle faddle, you have no power while I'm here. Be gone, before someone drops a house on you too.
Very well. I'll bide my time. And as for you, my fine lady, it's true. I can't attend to you here and now as I'd like. But after a suitable period of mourning, I will have those slippers and my revenge too.
Dabs her eyes with her handkerchief and sobs, then points to Dorothy and turns on her.
So, best try to stay out of my way. Just try. I'll get you eventually, my pretty.
Prepares to vanish.
And your little dog, too.
Chuckling in anticipation, the West Witch throws up her hands and vanishes with a shriek in an explosion and pillar of smoke. The Munchkins throw themselves onto the ground in terror. The smoke clears.
It's all right. You can get up. She's gone.
Some Munchkins get to their feet cautiously.
It's all right. You can get up.
The others get to their feet as Glinda sniffs the air.
Ooh, what a smell of sulphur.
Turns to Dorothy.
I'm afraid you've made rather a bad enemy of the Wicked Witch of the West. The sooner you get out of Oz altogether, the safer you'll sleep, my dear.
Oh, I'd give anything to get out of Oz altogether. My Auntie Em is missing me. She may even be ill. But which is the way back to Kansas? I can't go the way I came.
No, that's true. The only person who might know would be the great and wonderful Wizard of Oz himself.
Glinda's globe starts to descend from the skies.
The Wizard of Oz? Is he good or is he wicked?
Oh, very good, but very mysterious. He lives in the Emerald City, and that's a long journey from here. Did you bring your broomstick with you?
No, I'm afraid I didn't.
Well then, you'll have to walk. The Munchkins will see you safely to the border of Munchkin land. And remember, never let those ruby slippers off your feet for a moment, or you will be at the mercy of the Wicked Witch of the West.
But how do I start for the Emerald City?
It's always best to start at the beginning. All you have to do is follow the yellow brick road.
But what happens if I...
Just follow the yellow brick road.
Glinda exits in her globe back up to the skies.
Bye. Goodbye.
My, people come and go quickly around here. Follow the yellow brick road.
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 The mayor points at Dorothy's feet. Munchkins crouch and peel away the turf around Dorothy's feet. The yellow brick road is revealed. The Munchkins peel more and more of the turf away, revealing the yellow brick road in a spiral.
Follow the yellow brick road.
Follow the yellow brick road.
Follow, 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 follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the
Yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road.
You're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. You'll find he is a wizard. If there ever was the Wizard of Oz is one because of the wonderful thing he does. You're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Dorothy dances off with Toto.
Goodbye, goodbye.
The Munchkins joyfully dance off. Blackout. Music continues. Scene 8. The cornfield. The lights come up on stage, revealing a crossroads on the yellow brick road. A picket fence on one side of the road surrounds a cornfield. High on the pole in the middle of the field is a scarecrow. Dorothy walks down the road past the scarecrow and stops at the crossroads.
Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick. Well, now
Looks
which way
about
do we
her.
go?
Behind
now which
Dorothy,
way?
Behind Dorothy, the scarecrow points to the left.
Pardon me, that way is very nice.
Freezes as Dorothy turns.
Who said that?
Looks about her. Toto barks.
Don't be silly, Toto. Scarecrows don't talk.
Dorothy turns away again. The scarecrow points in the other direction.
It's pleasant down that way too.
Dorothy turns back to the scarecrow.
That's funny. Wasn't he pointing the other way?
Of course, people do go both ways.
The scarecrow crosses his arms and points in both directions.
Why, you did say something, didn't you?
Scarecrow crosses and recrosses his arms.
Are you doing that on purpose? Or can't you make up your mind?
I haven't got a brain. Only straw. But, so I ain't got a mind to make up.
Well, how can you talk if you haven't got a brain?
I don't know, but some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they?
Yes, I guess you're right.
Climbs the fence and approaches.
Can she get down?
Down? No, you see, I've got a pole stuck up my back.
The scarecrow gestures behind him. Dorothy moves round the back of the pole.
Is there any way I can help you?
Studies the problem.
Well, of course, I'm not very bright about doing things, but if you'll just bend the nail down and back, maybe I'll just slip off.
I'll certainly try.
Reaches up behind the pole.
It's an awful Stiff nail?
Suddenly, Dorothy moves back holding a bent nail. The Scarecrow slips to the ground. The Scarecrow staggers forward, trips over the fence and lands on the ground, spilling a vast amount of straw out of his open front.
Oh, whoops. Oh, there goes some more of me again.
Reaches for it.
Does it hurt you?
Oh no, I just keep picking it up and putting it back in again.
The Scarecrow shoves the straw back into his insides and tries to get up again.
Let me help you.
Helps the Scarecrow get to his feet.
My, it's good to be free.
The Scarecrow's legs buckle under him. He whirls around and falls back against the fence.
Oh!
The Scarecrow sits up as Dorothy crouches beside him.
Did I scare you?
No, I just thought you hurt yourself.
But I didn't scare you.
No, of course not.
I didn't think so.
Scene 9. Three crows enter and start eating corn.
You see, I can't even scare a crow.
Who's third crow? Is it Sam?
Sam or Liz?
Oh, my third.
Yeah. Hang on,
Howdy, neighbour.
I'll do.
They come from miles around just to eat in my field.
Howdy, Scarecrow.
And laugh in my face.
The three crows laugh heartily.
You see, said a scarecrow swinging on a pole to a blackbird sitting on a fence. Oh, the Lord gave me a soul, but forgot to give me common sense.
Said the blackbird, well, what in thunder do you have with common sense?
Said the scarecrow would be pleasing just to reason out the reason of the wishness and the whyness and the whence, if I had an ounce of common sense.
Why, sucks.
I could while away the hours, conferring with the flowers, consulting with the rain. In my head I'd be scratching while my thoughts were busy hatching. If I only had a brain, I'd unravel every riddle for any individual in trouble or in pain.
With the thoughts you'll be thinking you could be another Lincoln.
If I only had a brain. Oh, I could tell you why the ocean's near the shore.
You could think of things you've never thought before.
And then I sit and think some more. I would not just be a nuffin, my head all full of stuffing, my heart all full of pain. I would dance and be merry, life would be a ding-a-dairy if I only had a brain. Oh, I could tell you why the ocean's near the shore. I could think of things I never thought before.
And then he'd sit and think some more.
Gosh, it would be awful pleasing, the reason out the reason for things I can't explain. Then perhaps I deserve you and be even worthy of you if I only had a brain.
Dance break.
At the conclusion, dance.
If I only had a brain.
At the conclusion, the Scarecrow falls exhausted to the ground and the crows return to their corner.
That was wonderful. Why, if our Scarecrow back in Kansas could do that, the crows would be scared to pieces.
They would?
Oh, yes.
Oh, where is Kansas?
That's where I live. And I want to get back there so badly. I'm going all the way to Emerald City to get the Wizard of Oz to help me.
You're going to see a wizard?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think if I went with you, this wizard would give me some brains?
I couldn't say. But even if you didn't, you'd be no worse off than you are now.
Yes, that's true.
But maybe you'd better not. I've got a witch mad at me, and you might get into trouble.
Witch? I'm not afraid of a witch. I'm not afraid of anything. Oh, except a lighted match.
I don't blame you for that.
But I face a whole box full of them for the chance of getting some brains. Look, I won't be any trouble because I don't eat a thing, and I won't try to manage things because I can't think. Won't you take me with you?
Of course I will.
Hooray! I'm going to get me a brain. Let's go.
The Scarecrow takes a few steps when his legs collapse again, and Dorothy has to dart forward to catch him.
Ugh.
You're not starting out very well.
Oh, I'll try. Really, I will.
To Oz.
To Oz. Where...
You can sing it on your own, so we sing
Go.
We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. We hear he is a wizard of Wiz, if ever a wiz there was.
If ever a wiz there was, the Wizard of Oz is one because.
Because.
Because of the wonderful things he does.
We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Dorothy and the Scarecrow dance off with Toto following. The crows wave languidly farewell. The third crow's Liz, by the way.
Goodbye, Scarecrow.
I'm going to miss that old hay bag.
I never cared for him.
How's that?
Too much of a stuffed shirt.
Hooting with laughter, the three crows lope off. Okay, scene 10. During the light change, the stage revolves with three large trees. Apple trees come centre stage laden with bright red apples. The Tin Man, standing in front of his ruined cottage, is hidden from them. Dorothy, Toto and the Scarecrow enter in conversation.
You're hungry? But I thought only crows got hungry.
Oh, she's gone.
Has she gone?
She's gone.
She's done a runner.
Oh no.
Done a run down the leg. Just legged it.
Oh, she's back.
Sorry.
She just smacked herself in the face.
It's not good.
Wounded.
Not good. I literally headbutted the bar at work last night. Just no spatial awareness. I've got it's not showing yet, but I've got a little bump there and a bruise.
Oh no.
Flatted myself in the cheekbone with a metal colander.
Oh no.
How did you hit yourself in the bar? Was it like through glasses or something?
No, it was just a no spatial awareness moment, and I bent down and forgot that there was this massive bit of wood there and smashed my head into it.
Fair enough.
It was one of those where it was really loud as well, and I literally full on looked around in all directions to make sure nobody had seen that moment of shame.
Should we do your line again, Lucy?
Should we get Emma back? You do yours again.
Okay.
Lucy.
Okay. You're hungry? But I thought only crows got hungry.
All living things need to eat.
I don't need to eat.
Suddenly worried.
Does that mean I'm not alive?
Oh no, Scarecrow. You're the liveliest friend I ever had.
Why, thank you. Just for that you can eat as much as my hay as you like, and then I won't be hungry anymore.
Takes a great handful out of his jacket.
Oh no, Scarecrow. I couldn't do that.
Oh, you don't have to worry about me. So as long as I keep my legs well stuffed, I can walk to Emerald City no matter what shape I'm in up top.
It's a very kind offer, but I don't eat hay.
Oh, well, perhaps it's just as well.
Stuffs the straw back into himself.
A little mother-field mouse has a nest in here, and she wouldn't like to be disturbed.
Dorothy suddenly sees the apple trees.
Oh, look, Scarecrow, apples.
Apples? What's apples?
In the trees.
You mean all those little red birds hanging upside down by one leg?
They're not birds. They're something you eat and they're delicious.
Dorothy runs forward and picks an apple from a low branch. The tree takes the apple back and slaps her wrist.
Ouch!
What do you think you're doing?
We've been walking a long way and I was hungry and... Did you say something?
The first tree gestures to the other two.
She was hungry.
She was hungry.
How would you like it? Have someone come along and pick something off you?
I'm sorry. I keep forgetting I'm not in Kansas.
Come along, Dorothy. You don't want any of those apples. Yuck.
Are you hinting my apples aren't what they ought to be?
Oh, no. It's just that she doesn't like little green worms.
Worms?
To the others.
Did he say we had worms?
That's what it sounded like to me.
Whispered to Dorothy.
I'll show you how to get apples.
Louder.
Sure, you got worms, caterpillars, and probably a whole bunch of wood lice too.
How dare you? Let's give it to him, girls.
The three trees throw handfuls of apples at the Scarecrow.
Take that and that.
Base slanderer!
Look out, Dorothy!
The Scarecrow runs about the stage catching and collecting the apples.
How do you like them apples?
We like them just fine.
The Scarecrow approaches Dorothy with a handful.
I've suddenly twigged.
So have I. They've made saps of us all.
I think it's time we bowed out.
The three trees move away and turn their backs on the proceedings. Their movement reveals the Tin Man, motionlessly holding an axe raised in front of his ruined cottage. Dorothy starts forward. The Tin Man is covered in rust. Excuse me.
Why, it's a man. A man made out of tin.
What?
Yes. Oh, look.
Dorothy and the Scarecrow examine the Tin Man closely. Through rusted jaws, he speaks.
Oil can. Oil can.
Did you say something?
Oil can.
He said oil can.
Oil can what?
Oil can?
Dorothy looks around for it and eventually sees it on the ground. She picks it up.
Ah.
Here it is. Where do you want to be oiled first?
My mouth. My mouth.
He said his mouth, the other side.
Yes, there.
My goodness, I can talk again. Oh, oil my arms, please. Oil my elbows. Oh.
Dorothy and the Scarecrow take turns oiling the Tin Man and exercising his stiff limbs.
Here.
Dorothy and the Scarecrow oil the Tin Man's arm, holding the axe, and it falls to his side with a clank.
Oh.
Did that hurt?
No, it felt wonderful. I've had that axe up for ages.
Oh, goodness. How did you ever get like this?
Well, when I was flesh and blood like you, I fell in love with a Munchkin maiden whose mother hated me. So to stop me from marrying her daughter, she hired the Wicked Witch of the West to put an evil spell on my axe. When I tried to chop down a tree, it chopped off my leg instead.
It chopped your leg off?
That's terrible.
But by good fortune, I knew of a wonderful tinsmith, and he made me a new leg, almost as good as the old one. So I went back to work, and you know what happened?
Something terrible, I bet.
I swung my axe again, and dang me if it didn't take off the other leg.
You should have got a new one.
I guess you're right, but I got me a new leg instead, and then I went back to work.
You sure were persistent.
This time I chopped off both my arms.
Oh my!
I can see how you could have chopped off one arm, but how did you manage to chop off the other one?
I told you, the axe was enchanted.
Of course. See, Dorothy, if I had a brain, I could have worked that out for myself.
Sometimes I wish I hadn't got a new pair of arms from the tinsmith, because the last time I swung the axe was the worst of all.
I don't want to hear this.
The Scarecrow covers his ears.
What happened?
I split myself right down the middle.
Oh, you poor thing.
So the tinsmith gave me a new head and body. But on the way home, I got caught in a terrible rainstorm and rusted solid.
It just wasn't your day, was it?
I've been here ever since.
Well, you're perfect now.
The Tin Man turns his head sharply towards Dorothy and it sticks.
My neck! My neck!
Dorothy and the Scarecrow oil his neck.
Perfect. Just bang on my chest if you think I'm perfect. Go ahead, bang on it.
The Scarecrow gives it a thump and we all hear a gong sound.
Oh, beautiful. What an echo.
It's empty. The tinsmith forgot to give me a heart.
No heart?
No hearts.
No heart.
Oh.
All hollow. And as long as I have no heart, I can never love my Munchkin maiden.
The Tin Man gulps and starts to cry.
Oh, please don't cry, Tin Man. You'll rust again.
I used to carve her name on every tree.
The trees turn back again, rubbing their rumps.
Georgie,
You're
muted.
Georgie.
You can say that again.
The trees march forward and sing in harmony.
Said a tin man rattling his jibs to a straw man sat and weary-eyed.
Oh, the smith gave me tin ribs, but I forgot to put a heart inside.
Then he banged his hollow chest and cried.
When a man's an empty kettle, he should be on his mettle, and yet I'm torn apart. Just because I'm presuming that I could be kinda human if I only had a heart. I'd be tender, I'd be gentle, and awful sentimental regarding love and art. I'd be friends with the sparrows and the boy that shoot the arrows if I only had a heart. Picture me a balcony above a voice sings low.
Wherefore art thou, Romeo?
I hear a beat.
How sweet.
Just to register emotion, jealousy, devotion, and really feel the part. I could stay. I've just lost the tune entirely. I could stay young and chipper, and I'd lock it with a zipper if I only had a heart.
The Tin Man dances with the trees, during which he pumps his elbows, causing the funnel on his head to whistle and emit steam. After the dance.
Oh, I may be presuming that I could be kinda human. I'd be friends with the sparrows and the boy that shoots the arrows.
You could stay young and chipper.
And I'd lock it with a zipper.
If you only.
If I only.
If you only
had a heart.
The Tin Man starts to collapse.
Are you all right?
I'm afraid I'm a little rusty yet.
Wobbles uncertainly.
Oh.
The Scarecrow applies the oil can.
Perhaps you can visit the tinsmith again and ask him to give you a new heart.
Oh no, he went out of business long time ago.
Ran out of tin?
Then why don't you come with us to the Emerald City and ask the Wizard of Oz to give you a heart?
I suppose the wizard wouldn't give me one when we... Suppose the wizard wouldn't give me one when we got there.
Oh, but
I
he
think
will.
I've lost my brain as well, sorry.
It's all right.
Oh, but he will. He must. We've come such a long way already.
Scene 11. There is a sudden explosion and cloud of smoke. There stands the Wicked Witch of the West.
You call that a long? Why, you've only just begun.
You're the one who put the spell on my axe.
It certainly chopped you down to size, didn't it? And now you're helping the little lady along? Are you, my fine gentleman?
with sudden vehemence.
Well, stay away from her. I'll stuff a mattress with you, Scarecrow, and you, Tin Man, I'll use you for a beehive.
I'm not afraid of you.
That just proves you don't have a brain. Allow me to educate you. Here, Scarecrow, wanna play ball?
Tosses a fireball at him.
Oh!
With a shriek of laughter, she throws another. It seems to strike the Scarecrow, and his chest begins to emit smoke.
Oh, look out! Oh, I'm on fire! Fire! Help! Help!
Falls to the ground as the Tin Man thumps his chest and puts out the fire.
Just remember, Scarecrow, helping that girl reach the Emerald City could be your last burning ambition.
There is another explosion as a witch vanishes. Dorothy and the Tin Man help the Scarecrow to his feet.
Oh, I'm still not scared of her. I'll see you get safely to the wizard now, whether I get a brain or not. Stuff a mattress with me.
I'll see you reach the wizard, whether I get a heart or not. Beehive, bah! Let her try and make a beehive out of me.
Oh, you're the best friends anybody ever had. And it's funny, but I feel as if I've known you all the time. But I couldn't have, could I?
I don't see how. You weren't around when I was stuffed and sewn together, were you?
And I was standing over there rusting for the longest time.
I wish I could remember, but it really doesn't matter. We know each other now, don't we?
That's right.
We do.
To us?
To us.
Just one of you do it, probably. Briony.
Really? Okay. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. We hear he is a whiz of a whiz, if ever a whiz there was. If ever a whiz of a whiz there was, the Wizard of Oz is one because.
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 Because. Because.
Because of the wonderful things he does.
We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Arm in arm, the three friends dance off. The trees shuffle forward and watch them go. The stage darkens.
They're branching out for the wild forest.
I wouldn't be seen dead in that wild forest.
If I grew there, I'd be petrified.
The trees exit. Scene 12, the wild forest. The lighting, there's a sense of thick vegetation. The roar of lions and the screams of monkeys and tropical birds fill the air. Clumps of tropical vegetation set at regular intervals across conceal their three trampolines. Dorothy and the others enter tentatively.
Oh, I don't like this forest. It's dark and creepy.
Of course, I'm not very bright, but I think it'll get darker before it gets lighter.
Do you suppose we'll meet any wild animals?
We might.
Oh.
Animals that eat straw?
Some, but mostly lions and tigers and bears.
Lions?
And tigers?
And bears.
Oh, lions and tigers and bears, oh my! Lions and tigers and bears, oh my!
Lions and tigers and bears.
Oh my!
Lions and tigers and bears.
Oh my!
Lions and tigers and bears.
Oh my!
Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my!
Oh my!
Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my!
Oh my!
Near at hand, we suddenly hear a loud, ferocious roar. The three friends stop dead in their tracks. There is another roar, and the lion bounds on stage by way of the trampolines and lands on the road, blocking their way. General screaming as the lion leaps out.
Oh, look! Oh!
The Tin Man and the Scarecrow collide and collapse to the ground as the lion assumes a threatening pose.
Put 'em up! Put 'em up! Which one of you first? I'll fight you both together if you want. I'll fight you with one paw tied behind my back. I'll fight you standing on one foot. I'll fight you with my eyes closed.
Turns suddenly on the Tin Man, who holds up his axe in front of the lion.
Oh, pulling an axe on me, eh? Sneaking up on me, eh? Why, I oughta...
Here, go away and let us alone.
Oh, scared, huh? Afraid, huh? How long could you stay fresh in that can? Come on, get up and fight, you shivering junkyard. Put your hands up, you lopsided bag of hay.
That's getting personal, Lion.
Yes, get up and teach him a lesson.
Well, what's wrong with you teaching him?
Well, I hardly know him.
Toto in Dorothy's arms suddenly barks, causing the lion to spin around in alarm.
Well, I'll get you anyway, Pee-wee.
The lion leaps towards Dorothy with a roar. Dorothy slaps him on the nose, and he bursts into tears. The Tin Man and Scarecrow get to their feet.
Oh, shame on you.
What did you do that for? I didn't bite him.
No, but you tried to. It's bad enough picking on a straw man, but when you go around picking on poor little dogs.
Well, you didn't have to go and hit me, did you? Is my nose bleeding?
Well, of course not. My goodness, what a fuss you're making. Naturally, when you go around picking on things weaker than you are, why, you're nothing but a great big coward.
Oh, you're right, I am a coward. I've got any courage at all. I even scare myself. Look at the snow crawls under my eyes. I haven't slept in weeks.
Why don't you try counting sheep?
Oh, that doesn't do any good. I'm afraid of them.
Oh, that's too bad. Why did you come along with us? We're on our way to see the wizard now, to get him a heart.
And him a brain.
I'm sure he could give you some courage.
Wouldn't you feel degraded to be seen in the company of a cowardly lion? I know I would.
No, of course not.
Gee, that's awful nice of you. My life has been simply unbearable, Barrister. Even my family's disowned me. When I was just a little cub, my father took me to the top of a high mountain and waved his paw around and said, "One day, son, all this will be yours." Oh, I was terrified.
Why is that?
I'm scared of heights.
Oh, well, it's
Rise
all right.
again.
The wizard will fix everything.
At least I'll be safe if I come with you.
How's that?
Well, no self-respecting wild animal will come anywhere near me. Said a lion, poor neurotic lion, to a miss who listened to him rave. Oh, the Lord made a lion, but the Lord forgot to make him brave. Then his tail began to curl and wave. Life is sad, believe me, missy, when you're born to be a sissy without the vim and verve. But I could change my habits, never be more scared of rabbits if I only had the nerve. I'm afraid there's no denying I'm just a dandelion, a fate I don't deserve. But I could show my prowess, be a lion, not a mouse, if I only had the nerve.
Oh, you'd be in your stride, a king down to the core. You could roar the way you've never roared before.
And then I'd roar some more. I would show the dinosaurs who's king around the fours, a king they better serve. With my regal vizier, I could be another Caesar if I only had the nerve. I'd be brave as a blizzard.
I'd be gentle as a lizard.
I'd be clever as a gizzard.
If the wizard is a wizard who will serve,
then I'm sure to get a brain,
a heart,
a home,
the nerve. If I should take this one.
Yep.
Go on, Lion.
Oh,
Yep.
we're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Well, we hear he is a whiz of a whiz, if ever a whiz there was. If ever a whiz there was, the Wizard of Oz is one because of the wonderful things he does. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Scene 13. As Dorothy, Scarecrow, Tin Man and Lion dance off, a great white cloth descends. They reappear as giant figures silhouetted against the cloth, then dance away from the light and so seem to grow smaller and smaller. When the four friends are close behind the cloth, a projection of the Wicked Witch looms above them, looking down at their little dancing figures.
There is nothing so depressing as balanced optimism. Happily, it is totally misplaced. Now, shall I squash them out like the interfering bugs they are? Or shall I be witty and creative? The bug alternative is attractive, but messy. So witty and creative wins the day. Something with poison in it. I think with poison in it, but attractive to the eye and soothing to the smell. Poppies! Poppies! Poppies!
The screen begins to fill with huge red poppies and a soothing siren music is heard.
This lethal lullaby will put them to sleep forever. And then the ruby slippers will be mine.
Blackout as the cloth, when the lights come up, the stage is covered with poppykins. Dorothy and the others enter.
This yellow brick road seems to go on forever.
If you're tired, Dorothy, we can take a shortcut.
The road curves round this poppy field. We can cut through and pick up on the other side.
Let's go.
The friends start to wade through the poppies.
I've never seen such beautiful poppies.
I think poppies are my favourite flower.
Oh, the smell is so wonderful. And the singing.
I can hear it too. It sounds like the heavenly semaphores.
Dorothy suddenly stops and clutches her forehead.
Oh no! What's happening? What is this? What is it? I can't walk anymore. I'm so sleepy.
Sits down amongst the poppies.
Here, give us your hands and we'll pull you along.
Oh no, please. I have to rest just for a minute.
Puts Toto down beside her.
You lay there, Toto. We can have a little sleep together.
Oh, you can't rest now. We've got to go on.
Dorothy curls up for sleep.
Come to think of it, 40 weeks wouldn't be a bad idea.
The lion flops inelegantly to the ground.
Don't you start too.
It's the poppies. That's what's doing it.
Oh, don't cry. You'll rust yourself again. This is a spell, this is.
It's the Wicked Witch. What'll we do? Help! Help!
The tin man rusts up again.
Oh, it's no use screaming at a time like this. Nobody will hear you. Help! 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 Help!
The globe containing Glinda is lowered from the skies.
I hear you, Scarecrow, and though I can't undo the magic of the Wicked Witch, perhaps a little magic of my own will save the day.
Glinda waves her wand and it starts to snow. The golden globe with Glinda inside again rises into the skies. Gradually the popkins are transformed into white snowflakes.
It's snowing!
Dorothy starts to wake up.
Oh.
The lion sits bolt upright.
Unusual weather we're having, ain't it?
The Scarecrow notices the rusted tin man.
Oh no, he's rusted again. Give me the oil can, quick.
I don't have the oil can.
I just realized something.
What?
I'm sitting on it.
The lion reaches under himself and brings out the oil can. The Scarecrow takes it and starts to oil the Tin Man.
Boy, those puppies are powerful stuff. I didn't feel a thing.
The Tin Man comes alive and turns to Dorothy. Dorothy starts to shiver and hugs Toto for warmth. The lion gets to his feet.
Dorothy, you're awake.
Glinda enters. The four friends turn towards her.
My white magic has done its work.
Waves her wand and the snow stops.
Journey's end is now in sight.
Waves her wand again. Clouds part. Light fills the stage and the Emerald City appears in the distance.
The Emerald City! We're almost there at last! At last!
You're out of the woods, you're out of the dark, you're out of the night. Step into the sun, step into the light. Keep straight ahead for the most glorious place on the face of the earth or the sky. Hold on to your breath, hold on to your heart, hold on to your hope.
You're out of the woods, you're out of the dark, you're out of the night. Step into the sun, step into the light.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Just like I knew it would be. He really must be a wonderful wizard to live in a city like that.
Well, come on then.
What are you waiting for?
To Oz.
To Oz.
To Oz.
To Oz.
The song leads into we're off to see the wizard. The four friends circle the stage and then turn towards Emerald City as the curtains fall on.
We're off to see the wizard.
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 The wonderful wizard.
The wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Scene 1, outside the gates of the Emerald City.
You're out of the woods, you're out of the dark, you're out of the night. Step into the sun, step into the light. Keep straight ahead for the most glorious place on the face of the earth or the sky. Hold on to your breath, hold on to your heart, hold on to your hope. March up to the gate and bid it open, open.
Our four travellers are discovered where they're with their backs, gazing up at the walls of Emerald City, in which there are set a pair of great gates.
Have you ever seen anywhere so beautiful?
The walls are so high.
The lion clutches his brow and staggers.
I'm getting giddy just looking at him.
Dorothy turns and supports the lion.
Ring the bell, Scarecrow. Let them know we're here.
Oh, okay.
The Scarecrow crosses to the bell pull.
Here goes.
The Scarecrow pulls the bell and somewhere a long way off it jangles loudly. Almost immediately a trap window in the gate closes to the lion's position, bangs open. The city guard looks out.
Who rang the bell?
Don't do that!
We did.
We did.
Can't you read?
Read what?
The notice.
What notice?
What notice?
It's on the door, plain as the nose on my face.
The guard looks for the notice.
It's oh. Just a minute.
The guard disappears for a moment and then slaps a large notice on the outside of the door. After he slams the window shut, the four friends read the notice.
Bell
What?
out of order. Please knock.
Dorothy steps up to the door and raising the large knocker knocks. Again, the window shoots open.
Well, that's more like it. Now state your business.
We
want
want
to see the wizard.
Wizard.
Oh, the wizard. Ah, but nobody can see the Great Oz. Nobody's ever seen the Great Oz. Even I've never seen him.
Well then, how do you know there is one?
Because he's Because, well, if there wasn't a wizard, why would you be here?
Oh, please. Please, sir. I've got to see the wizard. The Good Witch of the North sent me.
Right, prove it. I want to see your IDs.
Oh, she's wearing the ruby slipper she gave her.
Ah, so she is. Well, bust my buttons. Why didn't you say that in the first place? That's a horse of a different colour.
The window slams shut. The lion looks around fearfully.
Who's calling a horse? If he wasn't on the other side of that door.
There is the sound of locks turning.
He's coming out.
He'd be on this side.
A pass door in the gates open and the guard steps out.
Welcome to the Emerald City.
Thank you.
How did you come so far?
Oh, just the longest of ways.
Believe me, every step is worth it. Have you any idea just how wonderful this place really is?
I've been trying to imagine it, but I haven't got a brain.
They said I'd fall in love with it if I had a heart.
The one place I don't need courage, because there's nothing there is scare me. Is there?
There's a
Merry
garden.
old Go. Sorry. Carry on. Go.
There's a garden spot, I'm told, where it's never too hot and it's never too cold.
Well, you're never too young and you're never too old.
Well, you're never too thin or tall.
And you're never too anything at all.
It's all true. Oh, we're not mad and we're not too sane. We don't compare and we don't complain. All we do is just sit tight, 'cause it's all so done right. Ha ha ha, ho ho ho, and a couple of tra-la-las. It's how we laugh to live the day in the merry old land of Oz. A buzz, 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 chirp, 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 and a couple of la-dee-das. It's the crickets quick all day in the merry old land of Oz. We get up at 12 and start at 1, and take an hour on lunch, and at 2 we're done.
Jolly good fun.
Ha ha ha, ho ho ho, and a couple of tra-la-las. It's how we laugh and live the day in the merry old land of Oz. Who's taking this?
Go, Lucy.
Okay. Ha ha ha, ho ho ho, and a couple of tra-la-las. That's how we laugh to the day away with a ho ho ho, ha ha ha, in the merry old land of Oz.
It's everything you said it was and more.
When do we get to see the wizard?
Will you take us to him?
Is he scary?
The wizard? The wizard? Aye, well, yes, of course. But first I'll have to take you to a little place where you can tidy up a bit. Where?
Oh, thank you.
Dorothy, Scarecrow, the Tin Man, Lion and the guard exit. An army of beauticians and maintenance men march on. At the end, maintenance men bring Scarecrow on to the beauticians.
Here we rush with soap and brush to make you clean and fair.
The female beauticians first set about adding new straw and brushing the Scarecrow's clothing.
Pat that here, pat there, and a couple of brand new straws. That's how we keep you young and fair in the merry old land of Oz.
Tin Man and Dorothy re-enter. The beauticians now turn their attention to Dorothy while the second group set about cleaning the Tin Man.
Up here, up there in the merry, whether you're tin or brass, that's how we keep you in repair in the merry old land of Oz.
The first group attends Dorothy. A girl holds a mirror for her.
We can make Dimple smile out of a frown.
Can you even dye my eyes to match my gown?
Uh-huh.
Jolly good town.
Lion and guard enter. Meanwhile, the second group has moved on to manicure the lion.
Clip, clip here, clip, clip there, we give the roughest claws.
Well, that's sort of air of savoir-faire in the merry old land of Oz.
The attendants finish their work.
Ha ha ha.
Ho ho ho.
Ho 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 ho.
Oh,
that's how we laugh the day away
in
in
the merry old land
Old
of
land of
Oz.
Oz. We get up at 12 and work at 1.
Take an hour for
Take out
lunch
for lunch
and
and
we're
that's we're
done.
done.
Jolly good
Jolly
fun.
good fun.
Ha ha ha, ho ho ho, ho 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 ho. That's how we laugh the day away in the merry old land of Oz. That's how we laugh the day away with a ha ha ha, 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 in the merry old land, merry old land, merry old land of Oz.
Woo!
Woo!
Yes. Prize, great. That's how we laugh the day away with a ha ha ha, a ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Sorry.
Explosion and the roar of the witch's broomstick is overheard. The Ozians shrink back with a gasp. Dorothy and the others look skyward.
Who's her? Who's her?
It's the witch. She's followed us here.
What's she doing with all that smoke?
She's writing with it.
What's it say? What's it say?
Surrender, Dorothy.
With a crackle of triumph, the witch and broomstick roar off.
Dorothy? Who's Dorothy?
The wizard will explain it.
To the wizard!
To the wizard. To the
Etc.
wizard.
The crowd mills around and starts to move off in the direction of the wizard. Dorothy and the friend join the throng. Suddenly, the guard appears and halts their progress. The guard halts his halberd in a threatening posture.
Here. Everything's all right. Stop that now. It's all right. Everything is all right. The great and powerful Oz has got matters well in his hands, I hope. So you can all go home and there's nothing to worry about. Go on. Go. And I didn't you hear me? I said go home.
That's what I'm trying to do, sir. That's why we have to see the wizard right away, all four of us.
Orders are, nobody can see the great Oz. Not nobody, not no-how.
Oh, but please.
You said you'd take us to him.
I got a permanent just for the occasion.
Not nobody, not no-how.
You just gotta make him see Dorothy.
Dorothy? Did you say Dorothy? As in the witch's Dorothy?
In person.
Well, that makes you a difference. All of you wait here. I'll announce you at once.
The guard exits.
Did you hear that? He'll announce us at once. I'm as good as I got my brains.
I can fairly hear my heart beating.
I'll be home in time for supper.
In another hour, I'll be king of the forest. I'll live the king. If I were king of the forest, not queen, not duke, not prince, my regal robes of the forest would be satin, not cotton, not chintz. I'd command each thing, be it fish or fowl, with a woof and a royal growl. Woof! As I'd click my heel, all the trees would kneel, and the mountains bow, and the bulls kowtow, and the sparrow would take wing. If I were king, each rabbit would show respect to me, the chipmunks genuflect to me, though my tail would lash, I would show compassion for every underling. If I were king, just king.
Monarch of all you survey.
Monarch. Oh, shucks.
Of all eyes
I
that you
survey.
survey.
Your Majesty, if you were a king, you wouldn't be afraid of anything?
Not no money, not no how.
Not even a rhinoceros?
Impossible.
How about a hippopotamus?
Why, I'd thrash him from top to bottom.
Supposing you met an elephant?
I'd wrap it up in cellophane.
What if we're a brontosaurus?
I'd show him who was king of the forest.
How?
How?
How? Courage. What makes a king out of a slave? Courage. What makes a flag on the mast wave? Courage. What makes the elephant charge his tusk in the misty mist of the dusky dusk? What makes the muskrat guard his musk? Courage. What makes the sphinx the seventh wonder? Courage. What makes the dawn go up like thunder? Courage. What makes the Hottentot so hot? What makes the ape an apricot? What have they got that I ain't got?
Courage!
You can say that again. Huh?
Loose.
For courage is the thing of things.
With courage, I'd be the king of kings.
And the whole
year
round, you'd be hailed and crowned
by
with every little thing.
If I
Be
were king.
The guard re-enters.
Oi, go home. The wizard says go away.
Go away.
Go away.
Oh, but surely...
He is deaf to all appeals. The wizard has spoken.
The guard exit. Dorothy begins to weep.
Looks like we came a long way for nothing.
Oh, and I was so happy. I thought I was on my way home.
Don't cry, Dorothy. We'll get you to the wizard somehow.
We certainly will.
The Scarecrow, Tin Man and Lion crowd around Dorothy. Behind them, unseen, the guard sidles back.
NEM was so good to me, and I never appreciated it. Running away and hurting her feelings. Professor Marble said she was sick and she may be dying, and it's all my fault.
Behind Dorothy, the guard takes out a large handkerchief and begins to sob silently.
I'll never forgive myself. Never, never, never.
Tears and wails burst forth from the guard as he staggers forward.
Don't cry anymore. I'll get you to the wizard somehow.
He beckons to the four friends.
Oh, thank you.
That's all right. I knew an answer myself once. This way, follow me.
The guard exits. The four friends start to follow, but the wizard's music begins and the lion stops.
Wait a minute, fellows. I was just thinking, I really don't want to see the wizard this much. I better wait for you outside.
The lion turns to go, but Tin Man and Scarecrow prevent him. The lion plays with his own tail nervously.
What's the matter? The wizard's going to give you some courage.
I'd be too scared to ask him for it.
Oh, come on, Lion. We'll be scared together.
The four start forward again. The lion reacts nervously.
Oh!
What happened?
Somebody pulled my tail.
Oh, you did it yourself.
I'm such a butterpaws.
The guard is heard from off stage, his voice echoing.
This way, step right up. The great Oz awaits you.
Oh, tell me when it's over.
The lion puts his hand over his face. There's a big fanfare and the four friends enter the chamber. Scene 3, the wizard's chamber. It's a huge room with a small curtained booth to one side of it. On the opposite side of the stage is a huge stained glass window. In the centre is a construction billowing forth smoke and flame through which the great head of Oz manifests itself. The travellers enter with trepidation.
Oh, look at that! Look at that! Oh, I want to go home.
The loud echoing voice.
I am Oz, the great and powerful. Who are you? Who are you?
The Oz machine belches more smoke and flame. The four friends are struck dumb. Oz repeats himself more fiercely.
Who are you? Who are you?
If you please, I'm Dorothy, the small and meek. We've come to ask you.
Silence!
Oh, Jiminy Crickets!
The great and powerful Oz knows why you have come. Step forward, Tin Man.
Oh!
With his knees knocking, the Tin Man steps forward.
You dare to come to me for a heart, do you? You clinking, clanking, clattering collection of caliginous junk.
Oh, yes. Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honour. You see, a while back, we were walking down the yellow brick road and...
Quiet!
Oh!
The
Tin Man runs back to join his companions.
And you, Scarecrow, and you. You have the effrontery to ask for a brain, you billowing bale of bovine fodder.
The Scarecrow totters forward on rubbery legs.
Yes, Your Honour. I mean, Your Excellency. I mean, your wizardry.
Enough! And you, Lion.
The Lion staggers forward, trying to speak.
Well?
The Lion faints. Dorothy runs to him and tries to revive him.
Oh! You ought to be ashamed of yourself, frightening him like that, when he came to ask you for help.
Silence, whippersnapper! The beneficent Oz has every intention of granting your requests.
The Lion sits bolt upright.
What's that? What did he say?
Are you all right?
Just a little deaf. What did he say?
Dorothy helps him to his feet.
He's going to help us after all.
He is.
But first, you must prove yourselves worthy by performing a very small task.
Small task? Is that all?
You name it and it's half done.
Bring me the broomstick of the Witch of the West.
But if we do that, we'll have to kill her to get it.
Bring me her broomstick, and I'll grant you your requests. Now go!
Forgetting his fear, the Lion shuffles forward.
Well, what if she kills us first?
I said go!
Don't worry, I'm already gone.
The Lion runs from the chamber as the lights fade. Scene 4, the gates of the Emerald City. The small pass gate is unlocked and the guard steps out, followed by Dorothy and Toto.
You know, I wish you'd given up this crazy scheme. I never should have let you see the wizard.
But I'm glad you did. How else can I get back to Kansas?
The Scarecrow carrying a blunderbuss and the Tin Man with his axe step out through the gate.
You don't have to worry about us.
We're not going after the witch empty-handed.
The Lion staggers through the door carrying a large can of fly spray and a huge butterfly net.
You can say that again.
Which way to our castle?
Nobody knows for sure.
You mean no one's ever gone there?
Oh, yeah. Plenty of folk have gone there, but no one's ever come back.
Oh, boy.
Dorothy gazes at the ground.
There's no yellow brick road to follow now.
There's no road to the land of the Winkies.
What's Winkies?
Once there were people very like us. The Wicked Witch made them her slaves. I hope the same thing doesn't happen to you.
Oh, so do I.
Keep going to the west where the sun sets.
Is that the best way to find the Wicked Witch?
You won't have to find her, Dorothy. When she knows you're in the land of the Winkies, she'll find you. Good luck!
The guard salutes formally and steps back inside. The door slams shut and is bolted.
You're muted.
Sorry. Sometimes it's a good thing not to have a brain. I haven't the wit to be scared.
And I haven't the heart to fail.
I haven't said goodbye to the wizard.
The lion turns to exit when the Tin Man and Scarecrow grab him.
How can you desert Dorothy now?
Well, I couldn't stay here. That's one way of doing it.
Shame on you. You're even more of a coward than I thought.
It's easy for you to speak. You're made of straw. You're made of tin. But I am only weak flesh.
Very weak.
Verging on flabby.
It's all right, Lion. You can stay here if you'd like.
I'd like. Oh, how unlike. But if you really need me, I'll tag along, I guess.
The Scarecrow and Tin Man shake the lion's hand.
That's more like it.
Stout fellow.
Ready to go, Dorothy?
The Scarecrow offers Dorothy his arm. She takes it. The Tin Man offers his other arm, and Dorothy links her other arm.
Best foot forward.
The Scarecrow, Dorothy, and Tin Man start to move off, leaving the lion behind.
Decisions.
Come on, Lion.
Dorothy and the others exit.
I'm coming. The Scarecrow's not the only one that needs a new brain.
The lion exits, shaking his head. Scene 5, the Witch's Castle. A long line of Winkies enters and marches along the front to the stage, singing their marching dirge. They exit off the other side. At their very tail, the witch enters, pulling the petals off a large poppy.
I hate her. I hate her not. I hate her. I hate her not.
In a frenzy, she rips off the remaining petals.
I hate her, hate her, hate her, hate her.
Carry on.
Now, I understand why the puppies failed me. Now I understand why the puppies failed me. Fate ordained that Oz himself should deliver them and lift Louis' little baggage into my territory. But how to bring her here before me? Winkies, Winkies, come forth!
The line of Winkies march back on with their general at their head. They stop before the witch and march on the spot, singing loudly. The witch puts her hands over her ears.
Yo, yo, hee ho, yo, 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 ho, yo, hee ho, yo, ho, yo, hee ho.
Enough! Silence! Quiet!
The Winkies immediately stop singing and come to attention.
Why do you always sing that lonesome dirge?
Since you put your foot through our drum, how else can we keep in step?
What does it mean anyway?
You mean you hee ho, yo ho?
The Winky general starts singing the yo-hee-ho song. The song is taken up by the other Winkies and they march out. The witch sighs deeply.
Next time I enslave a whole nation, I must check out their intelligence first. Nico! Nico! Where's the commander of my aerobatic apes? There you are, my simian minion. I have an important task for you. My enemies are about to enter the haunted forest. I want you to rouse your men and snatch the sickening little girl and her equally nauseating little dog. Exhausted? What do you mean you're exhausted? All right. I'll conjure up a spell to take the fight out of her. Now, which of my creepy crawly creations shall I send to plague her? The flibbity gibbet? No. The fly-by-night? No. Aha! There is no more infectious bug in my book of spells. Once bitten, they can never stop dancing till they drop. And when they do, you shall be there to scoop up the little brat and the little brute and bring them both to me. Now go! Do my bidding!
Nico hurtles out.
Fly! Soon those little darling little red slippers will grace my dainty feet.
The witch lifts her dress and holds out an enormous foot. After a moment's thought, she sets off in the direction of the Winkies, mumbling to herself.
I wonder if any of those Winkies do shoe repairing.
The haunted forest. Dusk has fallen. Dorothy, the Scarecrow, Timon and Lion weave their way through a tangle of trees. A signpost awaits them near the front of the stage. Music continues.
Oh, you're muted.
I'm on it. Oh, does anybody know where any of us are?
We passed a notice a while back.
You mean the one that said, "Welcome to the haunted forest"?
No, not the one that said, if you've got this far, you're lost.
Here's another notice.
I hope it says something a little more reassuring.
I
turn back
if I were you.
The Lion does so immediately and is stopped by the others.
Oh, fine. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Ghostly figures flit through the trees behind them. Owls hoot and bats twitter.
I believe there are spooks around here.
That's ridiculous. Spooks? That's silly.
Don't you believe in spooks?
No. Why, only fools.
Suddenly, the Tin Man is lifted into the air as if by imaginary hands. He calls out in alarm. The others rush forward to help him.
Tin Man!
Ooh!
The Tin Man yells in panic as he is dropped with a mighty clatter. Scarecrow and Dorothy rush forward. The Lion stays where he is and closes his eyes tight.
Oh, are you all right?
The Tin Man sits up dizzily and shakes his head to clear it.
I do believe in spooks. I do believe in spooks. I do believe in spooks. I do.
As the Lion continues to chant, the Jitterbug enters and flits from tree to tree, getting even nearer. Dorothy senses its presence.
So do I.
The Jitterbug gives a wolf whistle followed by a high-pitched cackle.
Did you just hear what I heard?
That noise don't come from an ordinary bird.
It may be just a cricket or a critter in the trees.
It's giving me the jitters in the joints around my knees.
I think I see a shadow and it's fuzzy and it's furry.
I haven't got a brain, but I think I ought to worry.
I haven't got a heart, but I feel a palpitation.
As monarch of the forest, I don't like the situation.
Are you going to stand around and let him fill us full of horror?
I'd like to roar him down, but I think I lost my roarer.
The Jitterbug becomes more active, dancing from tree to tree.
It's a who's this?
It's a who's-this?
It's a what's this?
It's a what's this?
Who's that?
Who's there?
Who's where?
Beware!
Beware!
Who's that hiding in the treetops? It's that rascal, the Jitterbug. You should catch him buzzing round you. Keep away from the Jitterbug. Oh, the bees and the breeze and the bats in the trees have a terrible, horrible buzz. But the bees and the breeze and the bats in the trees couldn't do what the Jitterbug does. So just be careful of that rascal. Keep away from the Jitterbug. The Jitterbug.
Loose.
Oh,
You
the
text
bees
through.
and the bees and the breeze and the bats and the trees have a terrible, horrible buzz. But the bees and the breeze and the bats and the trees couldn't do what that Jitterbug does. So just be careful of that little rascal. Keep away from the Jitterbug.
Nat.
The Jitterbug, the Jitterbug, the Jitterbug!
Briony.
Oh, the jitter, oh, the bug, oh, the jitterbug, do-ah, do-ah, do-ah.
The Jitterbug puts his influence on Dorothy and she slowly begins a dance which will become increasingly frenetic.
In the Twitter, in the throes. Oh, the critter's got me dancing on 1,000 toes. There she blows!
The Jitterbug turns his attention to the others. All the companions are dancing now. The Jitterbug seems to multiply so that the haunted forest is full of them. Even the ghosts we've glimpsed earlier are dancing.
Who's that hiding in the treetops? It's that rascal, the Jitterbug. Jitterbug, Jitterbug, should you catch him buzzing round you. Keep away from the Jitterbug, Jitterbug, Jitterbug. Oh, the bees, breeze, bats, trees have a terrible, horrible buzz. Couldn't do what the Jitterbug does. Do what the Jitterbug does. Do what the Jitterbug does. So be careful of that rascal. Keep away from the Jitterbug, the Jitterbug, the Jitterbug, Jitterbug, Jitterbug. Look out for that bug.
The stage is alive with dancing figures becoming more and more desperate. The music crescendos to a climax and the entire onstage company collapse with exhaustion. One of you is meant to be Georgie. I can't remember which one it is. Yeah, Georgie, you're meant to be Jitterbugs and Liz is meant to be just chorus.
But
I
the
think,
just chorus
but-
was a continuation of the chorus Jitterbugs.
Oh, of course it was. Yeah,
So
it's
I
all right.
wasn't
Don't worry.
sure. So yeah.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Don't worry. Just do it, Liz. It's fine.
So I'll go on, shall I? Did it, 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 did it.
Oh no, here we go again.
You're muted.
Briony, you're
You
muted.
muted, Briony.
Sorry, everyone.
All right.
I'm suffering from mental fatigue.
I want to sit this one.
Out.
Please leave us alone.
Like a master of the revels, the Jitterbug stands on the tree stump above the enforced revellers. Suddenly he blows a whistle and hollers skyward.
Come and get him.
Who? What?
The sound of the approaching monkeys is heard. The stage grows dark. The dancers dance on as the music continues.
What's happening?
Look at the size of them birds.
They're not birds. They're monkeys.
Flying.
Flying monkeys.
The sound of the monkeys is deafening as the first of them swoop down from the skies. The monkeys torment the Tin Man and the Lion. The Scarecrow runs behind a clump of bushes and is brought down.
Go away now.
Help! Help!
Nico and his second in command grab Dorothy and Toto.
Oh! Oh! Oh!
They're getting away with Dorothy.
Nico and the others lift Dorothy and Toto into the air. From behind the bushes, great wads of straw are thrown into the air, followed by the bottom half of the Scarecrow, which lands some way down off stage.
Help me! Help me!
Get away from me, pesky apes!
As Dorothy and Toto vanish, so do the other monkeys. The Tin Man and the Lion get to their feet.
Fine job we did of protecting Dorothy.
Help! Help!
The top half of the Scarecrow appears from behind the bushes.
What happened to you?
They tore my legs off and they threw them over there. Then they tore my arm off and they threw it over there.
Scarecrow, that's you all over.
Time you pulled yourself together.
I would, but I can't reach my legs.
I'll go.
The Lion picks up the Scarecrow's legs.
And then we'll go find Dorothy.
That's right. And the Lion will lead us.
Yeah. Me?
Yes, you.
I'm gonna lead us against the forces of evil?
That's right.
All right. I'll do it for Dorothy. Wicked witch or no wicked witch, guards or no guards, I'll tear him apart. Ruff, ruff. I may not come out alive, but I'll go down. Ruff. There is one thing I want you fellows to do.
What's
What's that?
Knock me out of it.
The Lion buries his face on the Tin Man's chest and sobs. Scene 8, the Witch's Castle. A great studded door leads to the main corridor of the castle. In the back wall is a large open window showing bleak crags and the night beyond. A huge crystal ball, some 4 feet in diameter, is on a throne. A table contains the witch's magic equipment, including a large hourglass with blood-red sand and the basket we have seen Miss Gulch with back in Kansas. Under this table sits a wooden bucket full of water. The door slams open and the wicked witch drags Dorothy into the room by her wrist. Nico follows, holding Toto.
This way, my dear.
Flings Dorothy down by the side of the throne.
I trust you had a pleasant flight. It's so kind of you to visit me in my loneliness. Give me the dog.
Nico shuffles over with Toto. The witch grabs him.
What are you going to do with Toto?
Tonight, we feast on Devil Dog.
No!
It's all right, my dear. Just my little joke. He'll look even more revolting with an apple in his mouth. Here, put him in the basket.
Nico takes Toto over and places him in the basket on the table. Then Nico lifts the basket and hooks it over one arm.
Where are you taking him? Why can't he stay with me?
Because the raging, roaring river is some way off. Is he a water breed?
I don't think so.
He soon will be, because that's where we're going to drop him if you don't hand over the slippers.
But the Good Witch of the North told me not to.
Very well. Throw that basket in the deepest point of the river and drown him.
No, please. You can have the slippers yourself. I don't want them. Just give me back Toto.
That's a good little girl. I knew you'd see reason.
The witch reaches for the slippers. They give off violent sparks. The witch draws back with a scream, sucking her fingers.
Ow!
Dorothy darts forward and snatches the basket from Nico.
Run, Toto!
She lifts the basket lid and shoos Toto off stage.
As far away as you can.
Catch him, you fool!
Nico pursues Toto off stage.
Run, Toto! Run!
Nico appears in the doorway, jumping up and down with frustration. Dorothy turns back triumphantly.
He got away! He got away from you!
Which is more than you will ever do.
The witch sucks her fingertips again.
Fool that I am! I should have remembered. Those slippers will never come off as long as you're alive.
The witch crosses and picks up the large hourglass.
You see this?
She turns the glass upside down and slams it down in front of Dorothy.
That! How much longer you've got to be alive? And it isn't long, my pretty. Just long enough for me to devise an unpleasant but wildly entertaining death for you. Of course, there is one route of escape. It's a long way down, and the rocks are sharp. So if you decide to go this way, be it darling, I'll leave the ruby slippers on the windowsill. It'll save us from having to take them off your cops.
She crosses to the door, chuckling.
How can anyone be so nasty, mean, and cruel?
Lots and lots of practice.
The witch and Nico exit, slamming the door behind them. Dorothy runs to it and hammers on the panels as we hear massive bolts being shot into place. Dorothy's hands drop feebly to her side. She turns and leans weakly against the door, sobbing.
Oh, I'm frightened. I'm frightened, Annie M. I'm so frightened.
The room darkens and the huge crystal begins to glow. We see Auntie M's worried face within the crystal.
Dorothy, Dorothy, where are you? It's me, it's Auntie M.
Dorothy runs to the crystal and kneels beside it.
We're trying to find you. Where are you?
I'm here in Oz, Annie M. I'm locked up in the witch's castle, and I'm trying to get home to you, Annie M. Oh, Annie M, don't go away. I'm frightened.
Dorothy.
The vision starts to fade.
Come back. Come back. Annie M.
Auntie M's face is replaced by the mocking face of the West Witch.
Annie M, come back. I'll give you Annie M, my pretty.
The witch shrieks with laughter and Dorothy collapses, sobbing with despair. Main gate of the witch's castle. A huge gateway is fringed with a portcullis. It leads to the castle courtyard. A large rock downstage acts as a cover for the three friends who enter on tiptoe and conceal themselves behind it. The lion points at the gate.
What's that? What's that?
That's the castle of the Wicked Witch.
The Dorothy's in that awful place.
Oh, I hate to think of her in there. We've got to get her out somehow.
Don't cry now. We haven't got the oil can with us, and you've been squeaking enough as it is.
But they say it's got 1,000 rooms. How are we ever going to find out which one Dorothy's in?
A familiar barking is heard and Toto runs through the gate.
Toto!
The three friends run to Toto and the lion picks him up.
Here, Toto.
He'll lead us to Dorothy.
But we still got to get into the castle.
Do you think it'll be polite dropping in like this?
Look out!
The Winkies are heard singing. The friends duck back behind the rock. The Winkies enter and perform a drill, singing their song.
Who's them? Who's them?
Yo ho, yo ho, yo ho, yo he, yo ho, yo ho, yo ho, yo he, yo ho, yo ho.
The Winkies march off to the right. The friends step out and move centre stage, watching the departing Winkies.
Are you muted, Lucy?
Yeah.
Sorry. I think I've got a plan how to get in there.
Fine. He's got a plan.
On the left, the three Winkies enter stealthily and cross till they are directly behind the friends.
It might not work,
It might not work.
but it's got a chance.
It's got a chance.
Only thing is, it's very, very dangerous. What do you say?
I say. Has anybody else got a plan?
Let's hear the scarecrows.
First, we've got to get hold of 3 Winky uniforms.
The lion is suddenly aware of the Winkies breathing down their necks.
Fellas?
Where are we going to get 3 Winky uniforms?
Fellas!
I don't know, but the whole plan depends on it.
3 Winky uniforms.
Fellas, we don't have to look far.
How come?
They're right behind us.
The friends turn and see the Winkies. They yell in surprise and run off behind the demonstration. Pursued by the Winkies, there is a sound of a struggle. The lion's tail appears above the rock. Winky hats are thrown in the air. The struggle tails off as Winky army is heard returning. The general enters at the head of the Winky column. The Winkies march, singing their tune straight across and through the castle entrance. The last 3 Winkies are Scarecrow, Tin Man, and the lion, whose tail sticks out the back of his Winky disguise. Music continues. The witch's chambers. Dorothy is crouched, watching the hourglass.
Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me. Where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly.
Dorothy turns her attention to the hourglass.
The sun's almost run out, and then the witch will come for me. Witch of the North, won't you help me now? Please help me. Won't anybody help me?
Music is out there as there is a bang on the door. Fearing it is the witch returning, Dorothy backs away fearfully.
No!
Dorothy, are you in there?
It's us. Are you all right?
Dorothy runs to the door.
Yes, I'm fine, but the witch has locked me in.
Stand back while I break it open.
Dorothy backs away and blows rain as rain. Dorothy backs away as rain blows down outside the door.
Oh, hurry! Please hurry. The hourglass is almost empty.
The door crashes to the ground and the friends enter, throwing off their uniforms. Preceded by Toto, Dorothy runs and picks him up.
Oh, Toto! Toto! Oh, I knew you'd come.
Hurry, we've got no time to lose.
We can't take her out the way we came.
What about the window?
The cliff is sheer.
Worry, you hang on to my tail and I'll hang on with my claws.
Oh, you're wonderful, all of you.
I just hope my courage holds out.
We just hope your tail holds out.
For the window!
The 4 friends run towards the window. There is a sudden explosion and the witch appears standing on the windowsill, clutching her broom.
Going so soon?
The 4 friends turn to run, but the Winkies enter and surround them. The witch scuttles down from the window.
We won't hear of it, will we, Winkies?
I think we've outstayed our welcome.
Ring around the rosy, a pocket full of spears. The sands of time have run out for all of you. The last to go will see the first 3 before her. And your mangy little mutt, too.
She swings around with her broom.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Who shall be the first to go? Lion? Girl? Tin Man? No!
She holds out her broom. The end of it bursts into flames.
My broom has chosen Scarecrow.
The witch advances on Scarecrow, who backs away in terror.
No! Help!
What's the matter? Don't you want to be my old flame?
Leave him alone. Can't you see he's terrified?
I'll get round to you eventually, Miss Mouth. Meanwhile, watch your little friend go up in smoke.
The Scarecrow drops to his knees, begging.
No, no, please, please.
Too late, Scarecrow. You're all burned up.
The witch advances with the broom on the Scarecrow.
No.
The witch stops and turns towards Dorothy.
What?
I won't let you.
Dorothy suddenly snatches up the water bucket from under the table and throws it at the witch's broom. It douses the witch as well. She starts to scream, smoulder, and shrink.
Oh, you cursed little brat! Look what you've done! I'm melting! Melting! Oh, what a world! What a world! Who would have thought a good little girl like you could destroy my beautiful wickedness? Oh, I'm melting! Melting! Melting!
Nothing remains but the witch's cloak, hat, and broom. The General of the Winkies starts forward in astonishment.
She's
Fabulous.
dead. You've killed her.
I didn't mean to kill her. Really, I didn't. It's just that she was going to set him on fire.
Hail to Dorothy. The Wicked Witch is dead.
The
Hail.
Winkies drop to one knee.
Hail, hail to Dorothy. The Wicked Witch is dead.
You are now our queen.
Oh, that's very kind of you. But I have to get back to Kansas.
She picks up the broom.
The witch's broom. May we have it?
Please, take it with you.
Oh, thank you so much. Now we can go back to the wizard and tell him the Wicked Witch is dead.
The Wicked Witch is dead.
The Winkies perform their version of Ding Dong, the witch is dead, while the others wave farewell and exit.
Ding dong, the witch is dead. Witch, old witch, the Wicked Witch. Ding dong, the Wicked Witch is dead. She's gone where the goblins go. Below, below, below. Yo ho! Here, open up and sing and ring the bells out. Ding dong, the merry ho. Sing it high, sing it low. Let them know the Wicked Witch is.
The wizard's chamber. The flames are billowing as Dorothy, Tin Man, Lion, and Scarecrow enter with more confidence than previously.
Step forward if you dare.
Dorothy advances. Go, sorry.
Can I believe my eyes? Why have you come back?
Please, sir. We've done what you told us. We've brought you the broom of the Wicked Witch of the West. We melted her.
Oh, you liquidated her, eh? Very resourceful.
Yes, sir. So we'd like you to keep your promise to us, if you please, sir.
Not so fast. Not so fast. I'll have to give the matter a little thought. Go away and come back tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Oh, but I want to go home now.
You've had plenty of time already.
Yeah.
The wizard's machine roars.
Do not arouse the wrath of the great and powerful Oz. I said, come back tomorrow.
If you were really great and powerful, you'd keep your promise.
Do you presume to criticize the great Oz?
The machine roars.
You ungrateful creatures!
The machine roars.
Think yourself lucky that I am giving you an audience tomorrow instead of 20 years from now.
The machine roars again. From behind the curtain booth, there is movement and the sound of Toto barking.
Toto?
Dorothy moves towards the booth. The barking and movement continue.
The great Oz has spoken. Now go.
Toto, come out of there.
I said go.
Dorothy draws back the curtain and we discover a small man manipulating the levers and speaking into a microphone.
I said go. Oh, pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. the great and powerful Oz
He gives up.
has spoken.
Who are you?
Well, I am the great and powerful Wizard of Oz.
You are?
Uh,
I don't believe you.
no, I'm afraid it's true. There's no other wizard except me.
You're muted.
You humbug!
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly so. I'm a humbug.
Oh, you're a very bad man.
Oh no, my dear. I'm a very good man. I'm just a very bad wizard.
What about the heart you promised Tin Man?
Well,
And the
And Scarecrow's brain.
Why, anybody can have a brain. That's a very mediocre commodity. Back where I come from, we have universities where men go to become great thinkers. And when they come out, they think. Deep thoughts, and with no more brains than you have. But they have one more thing you haven't got. A diploma.
The wizard brings out a rolled parchment from an inside pocket.
Therefore, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Universitas Comitiatum e Pluribus Unum, I hereby confer upon you the honorary degree of THD.
He gives the parchment roll to the Scarecrow.
THD?
Yeah, that's the Doctor of Thinkology.
The sum of the square roots of any two sides of an isosceles triangle is equal to the square root of the remaining side. Oh, joy! Rapture! I've got a brain! How can I ever thank you enough?
Well, you can't.
To the lion.
As for you, my fine friend, you are under the unfortunate delusion that simply because you run away from danger, you have no courage. You are confusing courage with wisdom. Back where I come from, we have men who are called heroes. Once a year, they take their fortitude out of mothballs and parade it down the main street of the city. And they have no more courage than you have. But they have one thing you haven't got, a medal.
From the booth behind him, the wizard brings out a big black sack and reaches into it.
Therefore, for meritorious conduct, extraordinary valor, conspicuous bravery against wicked witches, I award you the Triple Cross.
He passes it to the lion.
You are now a member of the Legion of Courage.
Oh, shucks. Folks, I'm speechless.
To the Tin Man.
As for you, my galvanized friend, you want a heart. You don't know how lucky you are not to have one. Hearts will never be practical until they can be made unbreakable.
But I still want one.
Back where I come from, there are men who do nothing all day but good deeds. They are called good deed doers, and their hearts are no bigger than yours. But they have one thing you haven't got, a testimonial.
The wizard reaches into the bag again and brings out a heart-shaped watch on a chain.
Therefore, in consideration of your kindness, I take pleasure at this time in presenting you with a small token of our esteem and affection.
He hangs it around the Tin Man's neck.
And remember, my sentimental friend, that a heart is not judged by how much you love, but by how much you are loved by others.
Oh, it ticks. Look, listen to my heart. It ticks.
And read what my medal says.
Awarded for courage.
Ain't it the truth? Ain't it the truth?
Oh, they're all so wonderful.
Hey, what about Dorothy?
Yes, what about Dorothy?
Yeah,
Ah,
Dorothy next.
yes, Dorothy.
Oh, I don't think there's anything in there for me.
Ah, well, you forced me into a cataclysmic decision. The only way to get Dorothy back to Kansas is for me to take her myself.
Oh, will you? Could you? But are you clever enough, wizard, to manage it?
Child, you cut me to the quick. I'm an old Kansas man myself, premier balloonist par excellence to the Miracle Wonderland Carnival Company, until one day, while performing spectacular feats of the stratospheric skill never before attempted by civilized man, the balloon failed to return to the fair.
It did?
Frightened, were you?
Frightened? You are talking to a man who has laughed in the face of death, sneered at doom, and chuckled at catastrophe. I was petrified. Then suddenly the wind changed. And then the balloon floated down in the heart of this noble city, where I was instantly acclaimed Oz, the first wizard deluxe.
Deluxe, from the French, pertaining to luxury.
Well, there were very few luxuries went with the job, but I took it anyway, retaining the balloon against the advent of a quick getaway. And the balloon is ready for the flight, and in that conveyance, my dear Dorothy, you and I will return to the land of E pluribus unum. Step this way.
The townspeople return, bringing with them the basket of a huge hot air balloon, the bulk of which is out of sight. The guard holds a rope attached to the balloon. Oz climbs into the basket and addresses the public.
Citizens of Oz, I, your wizard, par ardua ad alta, am about to embark upon a hazardous and technically unexplainable journey into the outer stratosphere.
The crowd cheers. Hooray!
To confer and converse and otherwise hobnob with my brother wizards.
Hey!
And I hereby decree that until that time, if any, that I return, the Scarecrow, by virtue of his highly superior brains, shall rule in my stead, assisted by Tin Man, by virtue of his magnificent heart, and the Lion, by virtue of his courage. Obey them as you would me.
Again, the crowd cheers.
Woo!
Thank you, my friends. And now I think it is time to cast off. Climb aboard, Dorothy. Climb aboard.
Climb aboard, missing, whilst the wind's in your favour.
Where's Toto? I can't go without him.
Somewhere in the crowd, a little dog barks.
Toto!
Don't worry, I'll get him for you.
Don't
let go of the rope.
What?
Oh, this is highly irregular procedure.
Balloon's going up.
Snatching at the rope.
Help! Help!
Oh, don't go, Professor.
Here's your dog.
The guard hands Toto to Dorothy.
This is absolutely unprecedented.
Please, Professor, you can't go without me.
Too late, my dear.
You have to come back.
I can't come back. I don't know how it works.
He waves his hat.
Goodbye, folks.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Oh, that idiot guard just ruined my exit.
Oz and the basket disappear into the skies. The crowd, including the guards, start to disperse.
Oh, now I'll never get home.
Then stay with us.
We don't want you to go.
I have to get back to Kansas.
Don't you love us, Dorothy?
Oh, you know I do. But there's a place and people I love more. And now it's further away than the furthest dream.
Scene 13.
Oh, Scarecrow. I'll never see Kansas again as long as I live. Never, never, never.
Glinda's globe starts to descend.
Never is a very, very long time, Dorothy.
Glinda steps out of her globe.
Oh, please, will you help me? Can you help me?
You don't need to be helped any longer. You've always had the power to go back to Kansas.
I have?
Then why didn't you tell her sooner?
Because she wouldn't have believed me. She had to learn it for herself.
What have you learned, Dorothy?
Well, I think that it isn't enough to just want to see Uncle Henry and Annie Ann, and that if I ever go back for my heart's desire again, I won't look any further than my own backyard, because if it isn't there, I never really lost it to begin with. Is that right?
That's all it is.
But that's so easy. I should have thought of it for you.
I should have felt it in my heart.
Me too, if I had the courage of my convictions.
No, she had to find it out for herself. Now those magic slippers will take you home in 2 seconds.
Toto too?
Toto too.
Dorothy turns back to the Lion, the Scarecrow, and the Tin Man.
Oh, it's going to be so hard to say goodbye. I love you all so much. Goodbye, Tin Man. Oh, don't cry. You rust so dreadfully. Here's your oil can.
She hands it to Tin Man.
Goodbye.
Now I know I've got a heart, 'cause it's breaking.
Goodbye, Lion. I know it isn't right, but I'm gonna miss the way you used to holler for help before you found your courage.
But when you go, I think I'm going to do a little more hollering.
The Lion dabs his eyes with his tail and sobs loudly.
Oh, dear Scarecrow, you're my first friend here. I think maybe I'll miss you most of all.
Having a brain don't make parting any easier. Goodbye, Dorothy. I'll think about you always.
Are you ready now?
Oh, yes, please. Before I change my mind and stay forever.
The lights dim to a spotlight on Dorothy, who holds Toto.
Then close your eyes and tap your heels together 3 times and think to yourself over and over, there's no place like home. There's no place like home.
Glinda starts to exit.
There's no place like home.
Dorothy closes her eyes and taps her heels. We hear Glinda's voice in the darkness.
1,
There's no place like home.
2.
Another tap.
There's no place like home.
Goodbye, Dorothy.
The blackout is followed by a reverse of the swirling cyclone effect seen in the first act. The music swells to a crescendo, to a climax, and then abruptly there is silence. Scene 14, the Kansas prairie. We hear the sound of the breeze sighing over the prairie. The sun begins to rise, and we see the vast spaces of the Kansas prairie. We hear Toto whimpering and discover Dorothy huddled and still at the edge with Toto by her. From a long way off, we hear Uncle Henry's voice.
Dorothy. Dorothy.
Carrying a lantern, Uncle Henry enters, followed by Professor Marvel.
Little girl, Oh, I'd hate to think of the kid out all night in this storm.
We'd best get into town and notify the sheriff.
As Henry and Marvel turn to go back, Toto whimpers again.
Wait!
Henry and Marvel turn back.
Toto?
The two men start forward.
There she is!
Dorothy!
The two men hurry over to her. Uncle Henry lifts her and cradles her in his arms.
Dorothy.
Dorothy continues to mumble, "No place like home." The professor examines Dorothy's head. Uncle Henry's calling off.
Zeke! Hunk! Hickory! She's over here. Tell Emmy and bid her bring a blanket.
She's got a lump on her head like an ostrich egg, but the skin ain't broken.
Dorothy opens her eyes and sees the professor.
Hello, Oz.
Oz? My first name's Chester, but you can call me whatever you like.
Uncle Henry, you were the guard.
I'm guarding you now, honey. I'll see you come to no more harm.
Zeke hurries on stage, followed by Hickory.
Is she all right?
There was a minute where I thought she'd left us.
But I did leave you, Uncle Henry. That's just the trouble. And I tried to get back for days and days.
Sounds like a bad dream.
It wasn't a dream.
Sure it wasn't. Remember me, your old pal Zeke?
Lion!
No, it ain't. And this here's Hickory.
You couldn't forget my face, could you?
Of course not, but where's Scarecrow?
Scarecrow?
Who the heck's Scarecrow?
Hunk runs on with the blanket.
There's the blanket you called for. How is she?
Hunk kneels and starts to wrap Dorothy. She reaches out for him groggily.
She'll be fine.
You've lost all your stuffing.
Stuffing?
What happened to the field mouse you had in your stomach?
I had more than a field mouse. You gave me a whole sack of kittens in there.
Aunt Em enters.
Dorothy.
Annie M!
Aunt Em runs and hugs Dorothy.
Oh, Dorothy, you're safe and well.
Thanks to you, Annie M. You showed me how to use the slippers.
I won't use the slipper on you, honey. You haven't done anything wrong.
Dorothy breaking away impatiently.
No, you don't understand. This was real. A real, truly live place. And I remember that some of it wasn't very nice, but most of it was beautiful. And you were all there. You kept resting up and you kept pulling your own tail and you were a humbug.
Well, now, let's not get personal.
Marvel chuckles and the others join in with relief.
Doesn't anyone believe me?
Aunt Em gives Dorothy another hug.
Of course we believe you, Dorothy. But now we've got to get you into bed.
Has the house come back? It fell on the witch, you know.
The storm passed right by it.
And it wasn't a house fell on Miss Gulch.
It was a telegraph pole.
We won't be hearing from that old biddy till her leg gets out of the plaster.
Then Toto's safe.
She picks him up.
You hear that, Toto? We're both safe. And we're going home.
She looks around her.
Home. And you're all here. And I'm never going to leave here ever again because I love you all. And, oh, Annie M, there really is no place like home.
Dorothy and Aunt Em embrace once more as the curtain falls. The end.
Woo-hoo! Woo!